going to move forward because there was an interesting story out of London that involved the NFL and not the Jacksonville Jaguars, who is their home team. Mark Ingram and a couple of other friends, including some of which who play on the Saints, including like Von Bell, were rejected from a London nightclub on a Monday. But why were they rejected, Jayar Jackson?
Tuesday.
They were rejected for looking, quote, too urban.
Yeah.
And this, my friend, is an interesting story. So Mark Ingram puts up this text message, which him and some friends, and he says that they had a reservation at this nightclub they were going to go to, probably some kind of table, bottle service, whatever it might be. And the message back and forth says they bounced us off the table. They said too urban. He goes, bro, come on. He goes, very sorry. American football players, I know. Who is they? It's 6 big guys. But I really like how Mark Ingram handled the situation.
So I just need a little bit of a clarification. This is between
Mark Ingram and a friend back in the U.S.
Okay, so he was told directly.
Mark Ingram's on the left.
Yes, but with the it's 6 big guys. Yeah, he was told. But I'm just curious, like, he didn't make it clear that they said that to him?
No, they did. The club said to him that they looked too urban to their face.
And also
right?
it's 6 big guys. You guys are 6 big guys.
And 6 big guys. And we'll get to the club statement in a little bit,
Right,
which is
which is horrible.
Pretty ridiculous, but also something that is common amongst clubbing. But I love how Mark Ingram handled it because the next 2 tweets I thought were great. The first tweet, he says, they told us they were, quote, 6 big guys that are too urban, but nobody taller than 5'11", which a couple of emojis, and they, CC the Saints roster. And then even better was the photo that they all posted. Is this what 6 big, too urban guys look like? Oh, man, which is good. And then lastly, he wanted to make sure that nobody was taken out of context. He didn't want to make it seem like all of England was being racist. He said, no, just this racist club was being racist for not letting them, in. And then lastly, JR, the Cirque Le Soir, I think I'm pronouncing that right. If not, I apologize. I don't really like this club anymore because they didn't let Mark Ingram into it, so I can care less if I butcher the pronunciation. Their quote was, discretion lies with our door staff, and while we sympathize with Mark and his friends, we fully support our employees' rights to challenge groups that do not adhere to our door policy. Admitting an all-male group goes against our policy and is clearly stated on Facebook and all reservation confirmation emails. They even went as far to say later on, if they brought some girls, they would have been let in.
Absolutely.
So
it's clearly stated on our Facebook and our confirmation policies that no sausage fests.
Right.
Especially big urban sausage
too urban
fests.
Sausage fests. I think club policy is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. For example, in Vegas, I had a white T-shirt on under a jacket. Turns out the club policy, you can't have a white T-shirt on no matter what on your body. And the reasoning they gave me was there was one incident here where a group of rowdy individuals were all just wearing white T-shirts, so now we banned white T-shirts. What? At least I didn't look too urban.
I'm going to show you what else was too urban in this picture. So white T-shirts are, cornrows are. One of them has, I think he has like maybe rows or dreadlocks. I can't tell from the picture. His head's a little bit back, but you can see long hair. Black. Facial hair. All these things scare people. Goatees.
Go put up the tweet again.
There's an old man in the back. I don't want to call him an old man. I just see gray hair, so I don't want to characterize him.
Is the gray hair urban?
It's just weird. If you actually look at the guys, you can see how actually they look like a good group of fun guys that you probably want in your club and might be recognized because they're NFL players and might actually make your club pop off that night.
It's a Monday.
Advertise it a little bit.
They got turned away from a club on a Monday for looking too urban. There's no argument in favor of this door staff or the club or any club for turning away. Look, I get it. If you're 6 random guys, you don't have any girls, I understand why that clubs do that. They want a certain ratio of girls to guys. It's such a stupid thing to even be discussing.
The reason you want a ratio of girls to guys is to get more guys in there that spend more money. Because guys want to be in a club where there's some girls, right?
Obviously.
So when there's guys with money coming in to spend it, it kind of goes straight to the heart of what you want.
Okay, maybe I'm the crazy one. I want to be in the club with Mark Ingram. I want to talk to Mark Ingram, chat with him, discuss with him certain fantasy elements of of my football team. Things that should be discussed, but it's interesting because, for one, in England, obviously the NFL isn't as big of a deal. Mark Ingram probably isn't the most recognized guy walking down the street. Now, if this was a club in New Orleans, Mark Ingram doesn't wait online in clubs in New Orleans.
Or Texas.
Or Texas. Maybe anywhere in the U.S. In New York, in Chicago, in Boston, and L.A. You're Mark Ingram. Was he a Heisman winner?
feel like he was.
He was
Alabama, right?
Heisman winner. I mean, this is a guy who in the United States
In all the
obviously
clubs
is
that
known.
pop off in Alabama, they would definitely
On
look
a
for him.
Monday.
Yeah, I mean, you ever
Baton
been to Alabama
Rouge,
clubs?
That's Louisiana. That's offensive. Have you
Clubs
been
in
to Alabama
Alabama.
clubs?
They pop off.
Do I look urban enough to get into an Alabama club? Should I get? First of all, I want to make 2 points. One, Kristaps Porzingis wore cornrows, so don't you be telling me that cornrows are urban. They could be non-urban,
He's unicorn.
rural.
So the bottom line is that our door staff can be as discriminatory for whatever reason they'd like, because they know that our policy is to tell them, make sure whoever you're afraid of, you do not let in, because if you're afraid of them, obviously they're going to come in and start some trouble.
So here's my feeling. Maybe they just don't like the Saints. Maybe they're like, look, man, Mark Ingram, not a fan of your play last year. Saints didn't do that well. If you can get us, maybe Todd Gurley. We'll let Todd Gurley in.
I did like, last thing, my thoughts on this. I did like how other NFL players did respond, because all the guys in the group, Mark Ingram was the biggest name that we're talking about. But the other guys are well known. Obviously, other people know them. They retweeted this whole story and talked about it on Twitter. And then other players that weren't even there responded and gave, they gave their support. Kenny Stills, Tony Jefferson, George Foster, who apparently is a really big guy. He said, if y'all too big and urban, they would have locked my butt up. So that's fun. I enjoyed that. I'm sure George Foster, his number 72 is probably a 340-pound offensive lineman or something like that. Sorry, George. I'm not familiar with your work. But they probably would have locked your ass up. You're right. So all of them came out, and again, like you said, it was a positive tone to it at the end. Mark was retweeting everyone and was on top of it. I like it. A too urban hashtag started. I enjoy that. That's the thing, because then it does bring a level of embarrassment to these guys at this particular club, although the policy is not going to change. No. Other clubs will continue to do this, because going out clubbing is one of the most mundane, stupid fucking things you could ever do. I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to curse on this.
No. Look,
but
I agree with you 110%.
I started clubbing at 20, and I stopped clubbing before I turned 21.